Here's a look at a recap of your markets on this Wednesday, the 16th day of July. Still not much going on as far as gate swinging in feedlot country so far this week. Aside from the heat, if there was any kind of story today, it would have been that grains finally all closed in the green. They were led today by soybeans, with most of the nearby contracts up just slightly over 18 cents for the day. Don't know if there was any real reason for that other than the fact we've just had day after day of losses in the grains, and they needed to do a little price correcting there. All in all, though, the big story in the grains that they just can't seem to overcome is the fact that everyone sees the potential for just an absolutely tremendous crop this year. Taking a look at the cattle auctions today, most of our sale barns are already done. They had light runs due to the heat today. Farmington Regional Stockyard, 631 head. They called the light weights under 400 pounds, steady to 10 higher. Heavier weights, they sold $5 to $10 lower, but a lot of that can be contributed to lower quality offering and a much lighter offering than the tremendous sale they had last week. The highlight of the sale at Farmington Day would have been those 240-some head of heifers that we mentioned early this morning. They sold 117 head of them in one draft, averaging 472 pounds, 407. Another 100 head of 531-pound heifers at 389. South Central Regional Stockyards in Vienna, they sold 418 head today. Not enough feeders to really establish a market trend. The highlight of that sale today would have been a small cattle dispersal with some bred cows. They got quite a bit of attention. Some 2 to 8 year old cows, second and third stage, 3,400 to 3,550. A few short solid mouth cows, 3,250 to 3,400, and then a few broken mouth cows, all in the second and third stage, 25 and a quarter to 25.50. Springfield Livestock Marketing Center, they had 804 head. The calves under 600 pounds, $3 to $8 higher. Heavier weights there sold mostly steady. Heifer sold with a steady undertone. The reporter there summed it up really good when she said, because of the heat today, the demand obviously best for the higher quality wean calves. Those calves with a little more health risk, unweaned balling, need a little extra attention in these hot temperatures, sure not getting the attention today. Box beef cutout values, they just continue to fall lower. Choice down $4.87 for the day. That closed at $372.85. Select was down $4.67 at $357.91. Since July 1st, both the Choice and the Select contract have lost almost $23. Volume today, 154 loads of cuts, trimmings, and grinds. The Choice Select spread at $14.94. Negotiated feedlot trade added about 300 head to the weekly total, 2,867 head. In Texas, 25 head reported so far this week. They've just been mixed loads of steers and heifers. The 300 head today mostly showed up in Kansas, making the weekly total there 1,200 head so far, still very light. Most of those sales have been some not really lower quality, but sure not the top quality grading. Most of them have fell in the 65 to 80% choice. There's been loads of steers, heifers, and mixed loads of steers and heifers, but everything in Kansas so far this week, 230. Iowa reported 770 head. Price ranges there, as we mentioned earlier this morning, they've been very wide on those scattered sales so far this week. 233 to 240 live. Few dress sales, 374 to 380. And again, nothing so far this week in Nebraska. Taking a look at the closing futures markets on the Mercantile Exchange. August live cattle up $1.50, $223.90. October 220.75 up 147. December 221.02 up 142. August feeder cattle up 330 at 325.57. September 325.85 up 347. October at 323.97 up 350. Lean hogs August 104.42 up 50. October 88.70 up 122, and December 80.45 up 127. Turning our attention to those grain markets now at the elevators around the state, soybeans were 17 to 18 higher, wheat up 3, corn 1 to 4 higher. Corn bids at the elevators in St. Louis, 439 to 442. Kansas City at 425. Soybean bids, St. Louis 1048 to 1051. Kansas City 1025 to 1040. Wheat bids in St. Louis 513 to 514. Kansas City at 541. On the Board of Trade, September corn up 405 and a quarter. December 424 up 4 and a quarter. March up 441 up 4 and a quarter. Soybeans for August up 18 and a half, 1013 and a half. September 1005 and 3/4 up 18 and a half. November new crop beans at 1020 and a half up 18 and 3/4. Wheat contracts, September was up 3 and a quarter, 541 and a quarter. December 561 and 3/4 up 3. March at 579 and 3/4 up 2 and 3/4. Soybean meal for August up $3, 10 cents a ton, $268.40. Soybean oil for August, $54.80 to a hundredweight, up 26 cents. With the Missouri Department of Agriculture, that's a recap of your markets for Wednesday. This is Tony Hancock.